catch 'em all.
Yo, what is up, guys? It is Twitch Braden YT here, back with another YouTube video, and today I'm gonna be making a YouTube video. I ran out of ideas. I just came up with this one, but I ran out of ideas, and you're like, "Yo, Twitch Braden YT, how do you run out of YouTube ideas?" I'm running out of them because I can't play any games. I can't stream or record any games because the internet is just that slow. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make a video about my SCUF controllers. Now, if you do not know what a SCUF controller is a special type of controller. Now, it's got paddles on the back, buttons on the side, but only the Vantage 1 and the Vantage 2 have the buttons on the side. And this is a SCUF Infinity 4 PS Pro. This one only has 2 paddles on the back, and that's it. Now, I'm going to take apart each SCUF controller to my fullest extent and show you what's basically inside of a SCUF controller and how does it work. Now, if you can look right here, I have trigger extensions right here. Trigger extensions, so like when you're playing, you can play down here. Or you can play up here, down here, halfway, either or you can play. Now, I'm going to take this apart and I will show you. Now, this controller has a special D-pad that you can take on and off magnetically. Here, let me pop this open. Okay. And this D-pad right here, this is the standard D-pad, and this is the special D-pad. This is a special one. Now, if you take the front of this off, which you can, you have to take this one off. You don't have to take this one off. This one's fine. But you have to take this one off because it'll pop it off and you could lose it. That's why you gotta take this one off. So I'm gonna put this in. Now, if you look right here, I have extended triggers. Now, look right here. If you can focus, you see under that, you see this little thing right here? You see that little thing right here? That's a trigger stop. You can turn it on and off with just your finger. So I turn this one off. Now look, there's a big difference between a trigger stop and not a trigger stop. Also, these trigger covers are removable. Now, I recommend that if you get a PS4 controller to get these triggers, not the digital tap ones, not the standard ones, the other ones I don't remember the name of. And you see right here, you take them off because it would be easier. Instead of taking them off with the trigger stops on, turn off the trigger stops. Turn off the trigger stops. It makes it easier to pop the trigger off. You just pop it and you do that. Now I'm going to put on another trigger. This is the standard trigger with slight extension. Everything else about this trigger is normal except for the slight extension, this trigger cover. I'm going to pop this one off. And you can put both of them on. Now I play like this. So this is ADS and this is not. So what I would do is I'd have an extended trigger for shooting, because ADS you just gotta put it in one place. Shooting is way easier with the trigger extension. I'm gonna take these off. Now you completely took apart the triggers. This is as far as you can take away the triggers. Now look right there. You see that hole? That is for one of these. One of these you put in that hole and you adjust your hair trigger tension, which makes it easier or harder to use. I say go down till it puts the commands in and go up, like fine tune it. Like go to Fortnite or something and then go till it puts the command in and it won't stop without you touching it. Then slightly adjust it till it doesn't do that anymore, and it doesn't do that when you press any of these buttons. So that's the triggers. These do not come off, but this does. If you see that, that's a bumper. This pops right off. See, it popped right off. This one right here pops right off. There. Now it's just, it's like a standard controller. I accidentally ended my recording there. I did not mean to do that. It's like a standard controller without this, without the triggers on it. You'd have to put like something for the trigger, but yeah. Now look at the back. You see that? That's paddles. That is 4 paddles for the back of the SCUF Vantage. Now the Vantage 2 is like this. It's just like faster and better. Now I just took off both these paddles, all 4 of the paddles. So the paddles are completely off. So now the back of it is stripped. Now you may be wondering, how do you get inside? How do you change the triggers? How do you change this? Can you change the buttons? And you see that groove right there? You see that? You put your finger in there and you pop it off, and that comes off. And you can take this off too. Now, one sec. I have to deactivate then reactivate my camera so it can focus there. Okay. Now, you see this right here? This is the vibrating engines. What this does is it basically it vibrates the controller. Now with these out, it's so light. Like actually, it is extremely light. Now, these triggers right here. I mean, not these triggers. Sorry, these joysticks are custom by SCUF. You don't customize them. You can change the color and stuff to them and the height. But I got one of these right here, and it's basically a kit with all the types of joysticks: short, long, domed, concave. And these are the two that type that I play. I like to play medium concave on the movement and then long concave on looking. And sometimes I will play. Oh, also this controller is completely stripped now. Also, sometimes I will play with the SCUF with long on looking, long domed on looking, and then short domed for movement. Because you don't need to do anything special. This is, you're moving. This, you need more accuracy. You need to move it slider for less command entry. So that is this controller completely stripped. Now I'm gonna put it back together for you guys. It says left, it says right. You put them in like that, and then you put this on, and you either put what D-pad you want. I want the special D-pad. I want this D-pad. Now, I'm going to put the side buttons on. Okay. Let me put this on. And by the way, all the paddles and these buttons are reassignable to whatever button you want, except for the triggers, because it's a tournament-ready controller, and you cannot assign it to the triggers. It can be anything else. It can be, you can't move it around and assign it to that, but you can click them in. You can assign it to the D-pad or the buttons, or share, options, touchpad, PlayStation button. You can assign them to any of that except for movement of the joysticks and the triggers, because it's a tournament-ready controller. Now, I'm going to put my controller on. Okay. Okay. Now, I've fixed my Vantage, and these are the paddles right here. These paddles right here. And you just put them in like that. Make sure it's down firmly or it does not put the button in, because if you look at the back of the trigger, it's got this thing, it pokes into one of these, and that's what assigns it. And that's what makes the command go into. Okay. Okay. Now this controller is back to normal. Now you may say extra parts. This is just the stuff I didn't do. This is joysticks I took out. That's what this is for. And you put your extra stuff in here. that's what you do. Okay. That is the Scuf Vantage. That is the Scuf Vantage taken apart and putting back together. Let's get into the next controller. Alright guys, this is the Scuf Infinity 4 PS Pro, and I moved my mic, so hopefully that's a little better, but this is the Scuf Infinity 4 PS Pro. Now, this one is just like a PS4 controller. I mean, it is a PS4 controller, but it literally is a PS4 controller. It's the same thing, but it's a Scuf. It's custom. So it's got custom joysticks, custom D-pad, custom buttons, custom bumpers, custom triggers, and paddles on the back. It's got grip right here. Now, I play with dual trigger extensions. Now, you can take them off. I have trigger stops on. You got to use the tool. You don't have to use the tool, but it's easy to use the tool to turn off the trigger stops. 1, 2. There, the trigger stops are now off, and then all you got to do is just pop it off. You got to pop the triggers off, and if you look in the top, you see those holes in the top. That's for this as well. That is for this as well. It's the hair trigger stuff. It makes it really easy to push or really hard to push. Now, if you want to go regular triggers with slide extension, you just pop these on, and then you just turn on the trigger stops. Unless you're playing Grand Theft Auto 5, then you just turn the trigger stops off. But right now we're gonna pop it off because I'm stripping these controllers to my fullest extent. Alright, so the triggers are off, and this has a special bumper. Now this is the bumper to this. Here there's no click. Now this is the bumper to a standard PS4 controller. This has digital tap bumpers, and they don't click. They're really smooth, really easy to push. They don't click, and yeah. Alright, now the tool, this right here, that's a reset. You stick the tool in there. You stick the tool in there, and then you just press it down, and it resets the controller. This tool is to take off the rings right here, so you can take the joystick out. So you just go pop, pop, and you turn the controller upside down. Then these come off. Then you just pop the trigger, not the triggers, the joysticks out. I did not get any joysticks, so I play both. I play short Scuf domed. I play short Scuf domed. Now this is the D-pad right here. This right here, you see that D-pad? That's holes in the D-pad for this. This sets into the D-pad, and it just uses the holes and it pops right in there. That's the front of the controller done. Now this is the back. You just go, and these are out. It also comes with different types of triggers. I mean, not triggers, paddles for the back of it. So if you're a guy that likes to play really close into the arms of the controller, you just go like that. That's the other type of paddles, and your hands sit right here instead of right here. Well, your hands sit right here instead of like further out in the middle, so it's really close. I play both sometimes. I really like having my fingers out here. Here, I'll show you. Alright, and this is where your hands sit with the other one. So like your hands are more out there. Your fingers are more out there. It's more comfortable for me. So that is the Scuf. That is the Scuf Infinity 4 PS Pro. Let's put it back together the way I had it. Oh, where's the other joystick? Okay. Alright. Then you put these rings in, and you go to where it falls down. So you use your fingers, and then it goes to where it falls in, and it's kind of flush. Then you just use the tool, and you just go 1, 2, and it don't come out no more. You see? Still there. Also, the trigger extensions, make sure they're on the right trigger like the last one. Make sure they're on the right trigger, or what'll happen is it could potentially break your controller. Alright. Yeah, okay, now this is back to the way I use it. Oh wait, no, it ain't, not yet. Alright, that is how I use the controller. Oh, no, not yet. Alright, now this is the way I use the controller. On to the next one. Alright guys, this is the SCUF Prestige Xbox PC controller. Now, you know how I was talking about that the SCUF Vantage is kind of like this? It is. It's just shorter and wider. Now, there's not really much to this controller. The faceplate can come off and these can come out. There's little rings right here that come out too, make it easier for the joysticks to go in. The paddles come off, and this right here is the trigger extension. There's no trigger extensions or anything, but this right here is the trigger stop. So look real close. That's trigger stop off. This is trigger stop on. I'm gonna turn both of these off. And there's no special bumpers or anything, it's just like an Xbox controller. Now these paddles come off. You just go, you push both of them with your thumb, and you kind of lift out, and you push both of them with the other one, and you kind of push out, they let them fall. Now, the front of the controller. This is how I play Grand Theft Auto, but this is the front of the controller. You pop it off. Pop both of them off, and these right here come out. These little rings, and your joysticks come out. And this is pretty much it. It's pretty much it. It has no vibrators in it, which means it's really light for a controller. But yeah, there's not really much to it. There's not really much to it. Alright, and then I'm going to put these back on. Alright, now the triggers are back on. You pop the faceplate on. Then you get the ring for the one or both of them, or none of them, and just leave the rings in. And then you pop them in, and then it's back to a controller. Pop the trigger things. The trigger stops on, then you put the paddles back up. Oh, and last paddle. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for my SCUF collection. I will be getting more controllers soon, hopefully. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please smash a like, subscribe, turn on notifications for more videos. Gameplay videos, not just my SCUF videos, but more gameplay videos. I hope you guys did enjoy. Smash the like button, and peace out.